National parks are some of the most beautiful places on the planet. They offer incredible views and are home to hundreds of species of animals. Every year people travel to national parks in order to see their beauty. Efforts will be made by the government to preserve these spots in the hopes of allowing the public at large to enjoy its unaging beauty for centuries to come. However, people have picked up on the fact that these locations are not as perfect as people make out. When you scratch under the surface of these locations, you will soon start to notice a worrying trend. This is in the form of disappearances and mysterious creature encounters. It's even been said that some of these cases have been covered up in order to stop mass panic. Although this may sound dramatic, it's tough to understand why so many people go missing. In fact, there seems to be an unreasonable amount of disappearances that occur in national parks from around the world. An almost disproportionate amount given any other areas compared to regarding visiting populations of any kind. Of course, skeptics may argue that this would make sense for there to be so many disappearances given the fact that national parks are massive. They also point out that untrained individuals can easily get lost in their massive size. This would be a fine answer, but it doesn't apply to all those that go missing. In fact, many people that go missing are experts and people that know these regions very well. Many people walk into a national park and are never seen or heard from again. As mentioned, many of these do have experience. Some of these individuals even lay out plans of travel, backup phones in case of emergency, telling family members and friends where their trail will be covering and so on. When they're eventually reported as missing though, nothing can be found. It's almost as if they disappeared from the planet. Other people have been reported as missing only then to turn up weeks or months later. When the individual is eventually interviewed and asked what happened, they have no idea. In fact, some people can't even remember the last few years of their life. It's one of the reasons why people are so interested in these cases. It begs the question as to what's really happening to these people. The number of people thought to go missing in national parks is said to be in the thousands. Sadly, although many of these people never return, some have, and their stories have left us with even more questions than answers. It's fair to say that national parks are not the safest places. There are many places where someone could get lost. Whether that be going the wrong way and straying off a path, or getting injured and not being able to walk. What some people have also picked up on is the fact the National Park Service has no database on missing people. The fact these people go missing in their parks, you would think they would have some kind of tracking system. But because of this, no one really knows how many people are currently missing in national parks. There's also the sheer volume of missing person cases that would qualify as especially strange. One example is that of Steven Kubacki. In February 1978, Steven decided to go exploring in the Great Lakes Triangle. However, while in this region, he suddenly vanished. What's strange is that this location is known for its disappearances. Not only this, but over the years people have reported encountering mysterious creatures. Steven had told some people that he was going skiing. This turned out to be true because when investigations were carried out, his skis were found close to Lake Michigan. Investigations concluded he was missing, and it would be 15 months before any news was released about where Steven was. This news, however, came about in one of the weirdest ways. After being missing for over a year, he turned up on his father's doorstep. After opening the door, Steven said he couldn't remember anything that had happened for the last 15 months. The only thing he said was that after waking up he realised he was over 700 miles away wearing nothing. Steven said that he didn't know he was gone for that long, and didn't understand how he couldn't remember anything. He was considered a sane man and holds a PhD in clinical psychology. To this day, this case remains a mystery. If these people who have gone missing were in excellent physical and mental condition, while also possessing incredible hiking skills, and were essentially regarded as individuals of whom knew exactly what they were doing when they went missing, and there was still no trace of them to be found, then we need to consider the idea that perhaps there is something other than the decisions of these hikers that are at fault. So we should first ask ourselves, is there something that's being hidden in national parks? Could it be that national parks are formed to hide something that has been found? To preserve wildlife or creatures that otherwise need to remain hidden? So the next question is, why would such zones be protected by the federal government? An interesting statistic from this era comes from the commonly reported sightings of strange creatures in national parks. In many of these national parks, many people have reported supernatural sightings of spirits and mysterious orbs of light. All throughout North and South America, national parks are hotspots for unidentified flying objects and creatures that seem to resemble giant humanoids. Further evidence can be found when analysing a surprising number of cases found at the Green Mountain National Park. In fact, many locals have suggested the area is a hotspot for supernatural and paranormal encounters, saying that many of the disappearances appear to happen in a small area, and this area is referred to as the Bennington Triangle. The area was provided the name by the locals after an unreasonable amount of disappearances began to happen during 1945 to 1950. Of course, many of these hikers had experience in the region. Some of these disappearances also seem to occur while the person was still within 50 yards of their group, but still happened to vanish without a trace. One of the things that people encounter while exploring national parks is mysterious sounds. Many have come forward and said that while hiking it feels as if low and high-pitched sounds are following them. Some believe there could be creatures lurking in our national parks that are causing these disappearances. Over the years, experts have come forward and said that they've encountered large humanoid creatures while out in these open areas. Of course, these claims are immediately met with criticism. However, these people stand by what they see. One hunter claimed that while camping in a national park he heard some strange grunting noises. When pointing a flashlight to where the noises were coming from, he saw a large Bigfoot-like creature, and he said that it was over 8 feet tall. One thing he noted though is how built the creature was, saying that if it wanted to it could have easily overpowered him. But he said that although the creature was of such a large build, it didn't seem vicious in any way. These creatures usually follow a theme. They stand on 2 legs and are roughly 7 to 12 feet tall. They have the general appearance of that of a large ape-like creature. Sightings of this beast have persisted for eons since the time of the Aborigines and their ancient mythological folklore. What's all the more startling about these claims is that even in the modern day people are encountering these creatures. All over the globe there have been reports of them. From Tibet, America and even Australia. There's no shortage of these stories. Ancient myths credit these creatures as having run-ins with humans, and when this happens it doesn't usually end well. Some have even managed to record some of these mysterious calls, and when given to scientists they said that humans are unable to make these kinds of noises. Going back, old tales said that in Australia the Yowie were the original inhabitants of the Australian continent, but were completely driven out of their native lands by men that came there to settle. Whatever you believe, there's no denying that something is going on, and that people all over the world are encountering something. Oddly enough, these mysterious creatures are not anything new. In fact, for hundreds of years, large humanoids have been encountered in national parks around the world, with legends detailing that these ancient giants tried to avoid men at all costs. Every so often, however, people do encounter these creatures, and what's interesting is that all of the eyewitness accounts seem to follow a similar theme. Something else that's encountered in these regions is mysterious flashing lights. These unidentified flying objects are often described as looking like pulsating balls of light. Some who've been hiking in national parks have said that they give off a range of different colours, with the most commonly seen colours being that of red, orange, blue, white and purple. What's interesting is some have put forward darker theories about what these lights are, with some eyewitnesses saying they felt as if these lights were trying to get them to wander off their trail. Another object that's commonly seen in this area is that of the triangle UFO. These crafts are said to be made up of 3 lights, with others saying the object is actually a large dark triangular craft, and they're able to hover motionless without making any noise. They can normally be seen when a mysterious creature has been reported, leading some to believe that perhaps the two are linked in some way. Today, these lights are still being witnessed by thousands of people across the globe, and it seems we're no closer to understanding where they're coming from. But what do you guys think of these mysterious disappearances? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community and work to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching.